guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, which I'm sure you are, my name is Lennox Blake and I'm autistic. In today's video, I just wanted to talk about my story. A lot of you guys messaged me after my first video, which made me so happy because knowing that other people out there struggle with the same exact things I do, made me feel not so strange or alien-like a lot of us do feel. I wanted to make this video a while ago, but my kids ended up getting really sick. One of them had bronchitis, the other might have had pneumonia. It was just, she was sick forever, the baby. So, and then I've also been losing weight. I've lost 15 pounds since my last video. It's really difficult as a picky eater to try to lose weight. It's not easy. So I pretty much put all my energy into that and getting my kids healthy again and myself. So my whole life I struggled and I didn't know why. I didn't know why I was like the other girls. I didn't know, you know when those girls say, oh, I'm not like other girls. Well, I'm actually not like other girls. I don't fit in. I can never do a group thing. Like hanging out with a group of girls was, you would never see me. And if I was quiet sitting there by myself because I didn't know what to say, I didn't know what to do. I would just panic. So I grew up, I was an athlete, gymnast, dancer, competitive cheerleader, and I did well, but I didn't hang out with the girls. Like I would hang out with one or two, but that's it. And I just always struggled. In high school, I ended up dropping out in homeschooling, I think my freshman year, because I just couldn't handle it anymore. It was too much. Having to mask year after year is so difficult, and that time for any teenager is a lot. So my mom and I was having stomach troubles because I was so stressed and had so much anxiety and just, it was so bad. So I ended up homeschooling for the rest of my high school, and I love that because obviously I was at home, could do everything myself. It was my routine, on my time, and I loved it. So the way that I found out that maybe I had something like autism was one day I was Googling skin picking because that's one of my stims. I pick my skin like this bad boy on my forehead, and I just didn't know why. I didn't know why it was so bad. I had literally picked my skin head to toe. I was just covered in scabs and I was bleeding and swollen and red, and I didn't know why I did that, and I was over it. When I pick my skin, it's usually when I'm stressed or kind of nonverbal, where I just don't have the energy to speak, or I'm like in a meltdown. Essentially, I will pick my skin. So I wanted to figure out why I did that so I could stop, because it was a problem. And so I Googled it. I remember my sister, she also picks her skin, and I remember her telling me about, I believe it's called dilithiomania, something like that. And so that's what I Googled, and I was like, I just read up on it because I just wanted answers. And so I read about it, understood it, but a couple weeks after I was reading about the dilithiomania, whatever it's called, I was on my YouTube app, and a video by Yosemite Sam, I believe her name is. I will link the video below. I believe it was titled like autism symptoms in girls, I believe. And so I watched it, and from that moment on, my entire life changed because everything started to make sense. Everything she said was lining up in some way from when I was a baby to now. My whole life, the reason I did things. And so I sat on it for a couple of days. I didn't tell anybody, I didn't say anything, but I just kept thinking back, and I was like, wow, I really resonated with what she said. A couple days later, I couldn't get it off my head. I had to research about it. So I sat down and I researched everything about autism in women and autism in girls, because all that I knew at the time was from the movie The Accountant, and from the show Parenthood. I believe there was a little boy in that show who had Asperger's, and so that's all I really knew was the stereotypical autistic person. And so as I was reading these things and I was learning, everything just made sense. So what I did was my sister is getting her master's in psychology, and so what I did was I just texted her and I said, hey, when you get the chance, can you tell me about autism in women? And she said, you know, I don't really know anything, but let me look it up. And so after I texted her, I just started writing down lists of what I thought my traits were. And I even asked my husband, I was like, okay, what are some weird things that I do that don't seem normal to you? Because I was curious. I wanted to know. And so he was telling me and it was actually really helpful. So I was able to add it to the list. And then I, talked to my mom, because I block out a lot of my childhood. And so I don't remember a lot. So I messaged her, or I texted her, and I asked her, I was like, what was I like as a kid? I remember being really shy. And she was just saying, yeah, you were extremely shy. Like, extremely shy. I was stuck to her all the time. And as far as I can remember, I remember having social problems in kindergarten, like that for most kids aren't a problem. And so as I was writing everything down, it just made a lot of sense. But I didn't know where to go from there. And then next came the emotional roller coaster of being what people say is a self-diagnosed autistic. A lot of things are good. You realize some things, you laugh because you're like, oh, that's why I did that thing, And then there's other times where you're grieving this life that you could have had if you would have had help, if somebody would have diagnosed you when you were little. Just like if we had the capability to do that and you had the resources, life would be so different. So I was going through this emotional roller coaster of ups and downs, and now I was learning new things of how to help myself, how to cope with everyday things, how to set boundaries. So I wasn't going into those low lows, but then I was also feeling all these emotions and grief, and that people don't talk, the autistic community, I don't really see talk about that aspect of it. It's hard. And so when I see people say, oh, self-diagnosis isn't valid, it is, because nobody knows you like you know you. Nobody's in my head. I'm not the same person that I am with my sister as I am with my husband or my mom or my friend Morgan. Like, I'm different with everybody. So I didn't know who I was as a person. Another thing is you don't really know who you are. You've been living this life and now you realize you do the things you do, and you've been masking for so long and now you're kind of learning who you are as a person. And I'm 28. So at 28, I'm just finding out who I am and what I like and what I don't like, because I've masked for 28 years. I was 27 at the time, and that's really hard. So self-diagnosis is valid. My channel is a safe place if you feel that you are autistic and you are self-diagnosed and you're not able to get a diagnosis. So getting diagnosed is really difficult. I knew that it was something I wanted to do. I wanted the resources. If you guys want me to make a video on tips on how to get diagnosed, I think it would be really helpful, but that's up to you guys. I made a binder, and for my daughter, I made a binder that I gave to my doctor to help. Even if I shared too much, I didn't care what it was, I put it in here. And then for my daughter, I did it the day before her appointment. So these are old, and they're updated now, but I just made lists of things that I thought were her traits, pictures to go along with it, and this was her MChat that they used that she passed. But he still luckily, her pediatrician luckily referred her. So if you guys want to know more about that too, I'll try to share as much as I can. But anyways, thank you so much for coming to my channel. I want to share more and help you guys. Like I said, this channel is a safe place for anybody who thinks they're autistic, are diagnosed autistic, have a child who's autistic. And if you guys want to see more, leave some comments down below. I would love to hear your thoughts and what you guys want to see. And please subscribe and give this video a big thumbs up.